Okay. All right. What's going on at this point? We're verging on insanity. We've gone now 2 episodes without Melissa Benoist, and I understand she was probably on maternity leave during this episode, during the shooting of both of these last 2 episodes. But that's where it's time for the writers and creators to get creative. Gosh. And Supergirl forgot her own origin. Did you catch that? We're going to break it all down. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Sibz West Coast, East Coast Siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Tonight, we are talking Supergirl Episode 5. Next week is the mid-season finale already. And the last 2 episodes, we haven't had Melissa Benoist. This is going to be a review, reaction, biggest takeaways, all rolled into one video. So hit that subscribe button, click the bell so you don't miss. Also, after the mid-season finale, Superman and Lois comes back. So if you want to catch up on that, I've done a full review of the episodes thus far. So check those out. Links will be down below. And let's just dive right into it. So yeah, of course, we have counterfeit, discount Supergirl, which, by the way, she did look a lot more like Supergirl with her hair tied up. I did see the resemblance. I know a couple weeks ago, I was like, who is she? She doesn't look like her. But I was seeing it in this episode. But the episode primarily just follows Brainy and Nia going and correcting all the issues that they had caused in the last several episodes. Well, really the last 2 episodes. Messing up the timeline. We got some interesting things happening with the origins now of Cat Grant and several different, how Kara ends up breaking up with Kenny and moving on with her life. She moved to her college, what was it? NCU or something like that. One of those places, and this is how her origin story kind of starts, how she gets out of her small town and stuff like that. So the episode was good. It kind of wasn't good enough to kind of have the same thing 2 weeks in a row with just the timey-wimey stuff and stuff like that. But, I digress. I guess this was the best they could do on short notice. The Blue Man Group was taken care of. Torkin, I think his name was. I cared to know his name 2 weeks ago. Last week, I no longer care because they were just completely insignificant characters, really, in the long term of things. You know the word that I'm looking for. Anyway, we also got some interesting new developments in terms of Nia's powers, Dreamer's powers. So this episode, like I said, follows them trying to correct the timeline. And what happens is Dreamer is able to, she's been dreaming of this Pink Panther, and, obviously not the Pink Panther, but a Pink Panther. Turns out that Panther is Cat Grant, and the cage she was in had a PW, which stood for Perry White, and she was able to bring the dream out into reality. That is awesome. That's super cool. And I'm glad that it's manifesting here in the show, that she can do those types of things. But another kind of nuanced thing about this power is while they were correcting the timeline, she was seeing kind of what needed to be corrected. She was seeing Cat Grant in the cage, and she, I guess, had the need, or it was her job to free her. And that's what she ends up doing as Dreamer becomes the inspiration behind Catco. And even CJ Grant, not CG Grant, I don't even know my own name, Chris Grant Jr. CGJ, CG. I'm on the struggle bus. Yeah. She decides to call herself Cat Grant. And so Dreamer is behind all of that. What was interesting is that Brainy kept saying we can't mess up the timeline so many times in the last 2 weeks. And that's just what they continued to do. And I understand that some of that is just a plot, but at some point it's like Brainiac's supposed to be an extremely highly intelligent being. And for him to just be not thinking of what needs to happen, or not calculating, predicting everything they need to do and or not do in order to not mess up the timeline, it seems inconsistent with his character. And it's like, what's the point of his intellect if he can't strategize around those types of things? So yeah, we got Nia's new powers, but let's talk about Kara forgetting her own origin. She was talking to Kenny in the high school gym, I think it was, and she said that she had crashed here by an accident, like she didn't control all the things in her life. Kara did not crash on Earth by accident, just like Clark didn't crash on Earth by accident. They were both sent to Earth from the dying planet Krypton. I mean, this is Superman like lore 101. And Kara's ship got knocked off course, and it took several years for her to get there. I mean, she says it in the intro to the show. My pod got knocked off course, and by the time I arrived, Cal had already grown up to become Superman, right? So, I mean, maybe it was a typo, but writers, you got to see that. Come on. That's just, You got to pay more attention to that. She said she crashed by accident. That's just not the truth. Anyway, I digress. Overall, this episode was just kind of a ramp up to next week's episode, the mid-season finale. They needed two filler episodes, and what they probably wanted to do is they probably shot in the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. They shot Melissa Benoist's episode 6, like the mid-season finale. They shot that and then let her go on maternity leave, allowing them to do the 2 weeks that we just had with no Melissa, and then next week's episode they probably took off because they had already shot Melissa's footage for that. And so that would probably give her more time as you add the end of the mid-season finale, and they probably won't be coming back for another, I don't even know the numbers on that, probably a month or so, maybe a little bit more. I would hope that it would come sooner rather than later. But that gave her probably, hopefully, enough time to, spend time with her family and do everything that she needs to do and be back ready to work and finish strong as Supergirl Melissa Benoist. So that was the episode. It really didn't have too much to it in terms of relevance to what's going on in present times in the city and with Supergirl and with her being in the Phantom Zone and stuff like that. We saw the preview. The preview looks to be, a pretty good episode, pretty action-packed. But, these last 2 weeks were kind of the calm before the storm. So, shows have to do that sometimes, especially they were thrown in a tough situation with what Melissa was going through. And obviously we wish her well here at Sibz and all the GLMG for her baby and everything. She's been a great Supergirl, so we're major fans over here. So yeah, with that being said, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below of this episode and even the entire season thus far. I'm on the struggle bus, yeah. This season thus far, let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're excited for Superman and Lois, let me know that as well down in the comments. And again, go catch up if you haven't already. That show is fantastic, so you don't want to miss. Also, check out our sister channel, The Lara Quente Ledger. I have a show, The Granite Geek Show, where I do tech and video games, particularly iOS-related video games, as I'm an Apple fanboy. And I'm unashamed. So be sure to check that channel out as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more. Click the bell so you don't miss anything. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.